Welcome to General Psychology 201. In general, psychology is defined as the scientific study of behavior and mental processes and how they are affected by your biology, your thinking processes, and the environment. And your thoughts and behaviors are influenced by these different factors. And in general, we tend to only look at one factor at a time. But in order for us to have a complete understanding of thinking and behavior, we need to look at these multiple factors. In order to learn about these multiple factors, we need to take a little bit at a time and learn a little bit about biology, a little bit about mental states, a little bit about the environment. And if you take 201, 202, and 203, we'll learn about these different factors over the course of those 3 general psychology courses. Now there's a metaphor, the blind men and the elephant. And depending on which person you're asking, they'll say different things about the elephant. So one might say, it's like a spear, it's like a snake, it's like a fan, it's a wall, it's a tree, it's a rope. And all of these blind people are right from a certain point of view. They're only looking at a small part of the elephant, a small part of reality, if you will. And only when they can see the big picture, they're able to see how these, what appears to be inconsistencies, are all accurate to a certain point of view, depending on what part of the elephant you're looking at. And psychology is the same way. There are these different perspectives of psychology that help inform us about our thinking and behavior. And on the surface, they may appear to be inconsistent, but if we look at the big picture, they all help explain who we are as an individual. Now, there are 8 major perspectives that are talked about in your book, and I've got them listed in the sequence in your book: biological and neuroscience, psychodynamic, behavioral, the humanistic, positive psychology, movement, cognitive perspective, cross-cultural, and evolutionary. Structuralism, functionalism, and Gestalt really aren't perspectives that are talked about anymore. Sometimes they're referred to as perspectives, but not really. When you learn about something for the first time, you want to start off slowly, and as you go along, add more information. So when learning about the perspectives of psychology, if you don't care about the sequence, you can use the 8 letters, 2 B's, 2 C's, 2 P's, and he, to help remember the first letter of the different perspectives. And once you have the letter, then identify the name of that perspective: biological, behavioral, cognitive, cross-cultural, psychodynamic, positive psychology, humanistic, and evolutionary perspective. And then once you have the name, describe those different perspectives, and then give examples of those different perspectives. So the next page, a very brief description of the different perspectives of psychology. The one I want to focus on is the cognitive perspective of psychology. And in general, the cognitive perspective examines how people think and learn and remember, and these beliefs, these expectations, influence what we perceive and fail to perceive. If you know what this picture is about, you're much more likely to see it. If you don't know what this picture is about, then you have a hard time seeing the image. I'm going to be going to the next page to show you what this picture is about. So if you want to look at it a little bit longer, pause here. I'm going to go to the next page. So this is a picture of a Dalmatian sniffing the ground. If you know what you're supposed to be looking for, you're much more likely to see it. If you know what you're supposed to be looking for, not only do you see it immediately, you have a difficult time perceiving alternatives. Also, once you know what you're supposed to be looking for, in this case the Dalmatian, it's hard psychologically to go back to a state 3 minutes, 5 minutes ago where you couldn't perceive the Dalmatian. The Cognitive perspectives, other examples. If you believe negative self-statements about yourself, I'm no good, I can't do anything right, would be examples of negative self-statements. You're less likely to persist in the face of difficulties. If you have positive self-statements about yourself, you're much more likely to persist in the face of difficulties. I can do this. I am smart. I am skilled. So these beliefs that you have about yourself can influence your behavior. Also, in 202, we talk about intelligence. If you believe that the nature of intelligence is fixed and can't be changed, you're correct. You aren't going to try to improve your intelligence. You're not going to try hard. You're not going to learn. You're not going to try new things. But if you believe that the nature of intelligence is acquired and can change, you are correct. You're going to try harder. You're going to study. You're going to learn. You're going to do new things. So whether you believe intelligence is fixed or not, your behavior is going to be influenced by those beliefs. Read through this picture. I got it wrong the first time. And what this tells us about thinking is that a lot of thinking processes are automatic and unconscious and happen without our awareness. So there are these thinking processes that occur that help us read what we think that this message is supposed to say. Same basic sort of thing. I got this wrong the first time as well. I was looking for the problem in a different spot until my office mate pointed out where the mistake was. These beliefs that we have can influence us in unconscious ways that we might not be aware of. So we might have implicit attitudes about race. This American Red Cross poster tries to illustrate what is cool behavior at the pool and what is uncool behavior at the pool. And I don't believe that the American Red Cross really wanted to emphasize negative stereotypes about minorities, but whoever created this image, their unconscious beliefs influenced them in ways that they were unaware of. Just like the previous examples up here, your thinking was influenced without your awareness, and that's one of the points of the cognitive perspective. Beliefs influence what you perceive and fail to perceive, so if you expect to look for something, you're much more likely to see it. The word homeowner has the word meow in it. Good luck at pronouncing it correctly ever again. You're welcome. So once you know you're supposed to find meow, you're much more likely to find it in that word. Can you find the cat in this picture? Again, expectations influence what you perceive and fail to perceive. Once you know where you're supposed to find the cat, it's obvious. But if you don't know where the cat is, you'll spend all this time looking for it and get frustrated and are pretty sure there isn't a cat. And I was pretty sure there wasn't a cat there the first time that I saw it. But once I saw the cat, I can't unsee it. So if you want to still look for the cat, pause the video here. I am going to show you on the next page where the cat is. So there's the cat lying across the stack of wood. Again, beliefs influence what you perceive and fail to perceive. If you have correct beliefs, you're much more likely to do all right in the world around you. If you have incorrect beliefs about the world around you, then you might have some problems. Now, one cautionary tale is that even though we might have beliefs and knowledge about the world around us, that may or may not translate into correct behavior. So even though most people probably know how to wear the oxygen masks on an airplane, when an actual accident occurred, many people under time pressure, under a lot of stress, didn't actually use the oxygen masks correctly. And also, partially because they probably didn't get feedback on their behavior, they didn't realize that they were making mistakes. So we do have to be careful about knowledge and accurate beliefs and how they affect behavior. So again, the cognitive perspective is these beliefs, these expectations influence what we perceive and fail to perceive. Um, and it can influence later thinking processes. It is one of the 8 perspectives of psychology that help explain behavior. Thank you.